So we're on episode 7. I'm almost finished with disc 1. And I gotta say, they're just really drawing out the reunion between you and Mika. And it's just killing me. I would have thought that the reunion would have happened by now. But nope, it's just drawing out more and more. At this point, they're not going to meet until episode 12. I don't know. The episode starts where we see young Mika again in Yu's dream. Only this time it's not really Mika. It's the new demon that is inside you. And it sounds like this demon's almost trying to be a therapist. Like, let's work through your problems. Otherwise, you're going to keep seeing these things and having these dreams. It was interesting. With this being Yu's demon's true form, Asumaru, I am kind of curious to know what the other people's actual demons look like, because clearly there's no way that they're all just smoke people. Like, I think that's just, I don't know, like their demonic energy or something. I could be wrong. So I'm wondering if we will be seeing their other weapons as true forms as well anytime in the anime. I'm very curious about that. Yu wakes up, and we get to see that he has his sword by his side, and I don't know, I just thought this scene was cute. I mean, just look at him. He's like so sleepy. We get to see him exhibiting proper hygiene and starting to get dressed in his school uniform before he smiles, toothbrush still in mouth, realizing, oh yeah, I don't have to go to school. I can finally put on a uniform and go kill vampires. And he's just like, that's nice. Right before he leaves, we see him talk to Mika, and we realize that he still has the gun that Mika stole, and I just found that interesting. He meets Shinoa at the train station, and she does a weird, obnoxious, almost egotistical flirt thing. I don't know. I just don't like her at all. Tries to brief him a little bit on what's going to happen, but he's bored. He's bored of what she has to say. How do people ship this? Oh God, how do people ship this? They are just like at each other's, they're not compatible. But I will say, I do love the look of this scene and how he's almost kingly holding his sword and how he's sitting and everything. I don't know. I just really love the scene and how Yu is presenting himself. He just seems almost like he has a royal air, They get at the gate, and they're almost not let out because the people guarding it don't believe that people who look so young, they're kids, would even be allowed outside or in such a high-ranking company and group. And Shinoa's like, obviously they're talking about you because I'm mature. And he's like, you're smaller than me. And she's like, well, I'm still growing, unlike you. And she alludes that she's going to end up being like her older sister that we find out she has. And seriously, the way she talks, it makes me uncomfortable. We meet another new character named Mitsuba, and I just really think this girl is adorable. She's angry, but she clearly has issues, which we find out later. And I don't know, she's just adorable. I love pigtail girls as well, so there's that. And I have a wig that would be almost perfect for cosplaying her. They're all kind of just watching her argue with Gurren because she is not happy because she's not going to be the leader of this group. And instead, sex addict, psychopath, purple-haired girl is going to be. And she's not having it. The two of them clearly butt heads and are not happy. And Shinoa doesn't really help the situation. She just kind of eggs her on. I feel like maybe Shinoa has some kind of confrontational desire to just start fights with everyone. Like, there's some probably deep-seated issues going on with her. Either that or she's just a prick. I'm not sure yet. The fight gets pretty physical. They're both using their weapons at each other, but Gurren quickly interrupts and just kind of makes it so both their weapons go away. and he is holding them both by their throats. He don't care what gender you are. He will choke the life out of you. He threatens solitary confinement if they choose to continue fighting, and of course neither of them want that. They agree to cooperate reluctantly. U2 makes a funny comment about Shiho, and Shiho's like, hey, what did you say? And U2, of course, chickens out, and he's like, nothing, I didn't say anything. Honestly, I'm really starting to like U2 a lot more than I thought I would. I thought he'd just be kind of annoying, but I don't know, man. There's just something charming about him, especially now that he's in his little marching band outfit. Mitsuba comes to assume that the reason why she was put with this group for vampire hunting was because she needs to train them because, she's so great. And Gurren is just like, why would I put a troublemaker like you in charge of training these guys? Gurren informs them that it's best to hunt in a group of 5 because any less and you're losing more people, any more and it just becomes chaos. And that this was the best group of 5 that he could think of for this moment and task, and that they were now each other's family and more important than anything, even their life. U2 is pretty amazed by the state of things once they get out there and finally start their little field trip. And honestly, can I just say again how just adorable he looks in his uniform? I'm sorry. I can't get over it. He is the best. It was very eerie to see the state of Tokyo as it is now 4 years later since that great big incident. And I just really like seeing how the state of decay and just despair and trashiness of everything. Especially like the car scene and the plane and how the tree was growing out of the plane. I don't know. I just kind of like stuff like that. Very dystopian. A little girl ends up appearing and running out just begging for help as one of the 4 horsemen of John appeared trying to get to him. And Yu tries to go help her, but, Mitsuba was like, no, do not break formation. This is a trap set by vampires. We don't do anything. We do not get involved. It is a trap. And Yu was like, no, I'm going to go help this little girl. And she tries her best to stop Yu. But eventually, Yu being Yu does break free to go help the girl. Which is good because that girl was about ready to be just pushed off that cliff and just die. Shiho tries to go help with the situation, but is stopped by Shinoa saying, hey, look, because these 3 vampires do actually show up to cause problems, but they're not really doing as much fighting, really. They're mostly letting that monster do all the work. One of them does slash at Yu, and he's bleeding, and blood is, covering his eye. And these strange markings start appearing on his arm and his face. I feel like it's not necessarily to do per se with the demon, but I wonder if it has something to do with the experimentation that was alluded to throughout the series so far. I'm pretty sure we will find out more as the, series goes on. Shiho does eventually join the fray because it just becomes too much. And of course, he's a badass and he just slices straight up into the freaking monster just as it's about ready to get Yu. We also see U2 being completely useful, just getting all these monster stuff with perfect aim. Oh my gosh, U2, I love you. The character development, the inner strength you are showing. Go, perfect baby, go. Further develop, make me love you more. Mitsuba manages to just finish off the monster. And we get to see a cool scene of blood raining down, but she's using her weapon to shield her head from getting splattered. I just love it. I love the scene. I love everything about Mitsuba so far. Just saying. She's a little annoying, but I still love her. The 3 vampires decide, this is a bit of a sticky situation. These guys are higher up than us. weapon-wise and power-wise. Let's just leave. But before they go to leave, they do taunt them, basically calling them livestock. This rightfully triggers you, and those strange markings become even more pronounced. They're like really cool markings. And he's about ready to just, destroy them. But the others kind of make him leave. And no one comments on these markings. No one. Does nobody notice that he's basically becoming like a demon or something? Nobody? Okay. I mean, if we're not going to acknowledge it, let's just sweep it under the rug. Mitsuba, when they get back, smacks him hard. And he's like, I'm sorry what I did, but I do not regret it. And I would do it again to help this little girl. And she's just not for it. She's like, you broke formation. You can't break formation. It's not good. After she leaves, quite upset, Shinoa pretty much does comment that everybody here has issues, but she's not going to comment on what her issues are to him because that's not her place. Finally saying something actually tactful. I didn't know she was capable, but I guess she is. The respect I gained for her was quickly lost when she pervs in on her while she's showering and tries to insist that Mitsuba has like a crush on you, or she's like lusting after him or something. Why are you so obsessed with everybody doing it? Why? I mean, come on. And don't invade on that girl. She's upset. Let her shower alone. We then find out Mitsuba's backstory about how one of her team members actually ended up dying because she broke formation, and she blames herself for his death. And that's why she's so strict about staying in formation, sticking to the rules, and don't take any risks. So, you really just get to see inside it. I understand why you are the way you are, Shinoa then pervs up on Mitsuba and touches her and leaps at her and stuff, and probably does other stuff. I'm not sure, but I don't trust it. All I know is that Mitsuba calls her a pervert when they leave, and she's very red-faced. So I feel at the very least there was some boob groping. I'm just saying, there could be more. The girl does tell them where the vampire nest she was living in was, informs them there are other children there, and hey, this is where you can go. She's like, you saved me, so I'm going to help you out by letting you know where they are. But I'm sorry, devil's advocate, I don't think the vampires are all that bad. On their way there to the nest, they do pass a vampire romance poster that I thought was hilarious, just considering, what the anime is. I don't know, is this alluding maybe to you and Mika? Probably not, but I can wish and dream. Episode ends with them arriving at the entranceway to the subway where the nest is supposed to be. And it just really, really left me really wanting to start the next episode. But I promised myself from the start of this series that I would do episode summary. So I wouldn't have, any spoilers or anything. And I can continue to do it blindly. I will probably be watching it tomorrow or Wednesday, which means you might be getting it, the next summary, sooner than Friday. But we'll see.